Hello and welcome to A Cup of Tea with Dr. Z, where we share everyday stories with you, everyday women. Are you ready to hear heart-to-heart key issues that we all face, no matter where we are in the world? So grab your cup of tea and let's welcome your host, author, international speaker, reinvention strategist, and woman that's full of faith in God and mankind, Dr. Zena Arinzi.
Hello, and welcome. Welcome to A Cup of Tea with me, Dr. Z, where we speak to extraordinary women all over the world doing extraordinary things. And when I'm talking about an extraordinary woman, I'm actually talking about you. Just like you, one head, arms, legs. I was going to say two heads, but one head, arms, legs. Just like you might feel that you're not extraordinary, but I'm here to tell you that you are. For the fact that you're on this show right now listening, or if you're listening on the replay, or for the fact that you're doing whatever it is that you do every day. Either you're looking after your children, you're looking after your home, your spouse, you're looking after your business. Perhaps you're looking after your grandchildren. Whatever it is that you do, you might be a painter, an artist, an actor, a cleaner, a window cleaner, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher. Hello, Cassiana, I can see you. Hello, whoever. You might be a juror, this lovely lady, lovely Italian lady. I've just seen her now. Cassiana, fantastic juror. You could be 1001 things, but I want you to know that in your space, you are extraordinary. Now, I am so ecstatic to be back. I've been away for about almost 6 months, and I'll tell you why. Today's show, episode 11, is called Tales of the Unexpected. Tales of the Unexpected. If you're of a certain age, you might remember watching that on television, and it was really scary. I hope this is not going to scare you. I hope that it's going to give you inspiration, authenticity, something to help you move ahead, and also to shed a bit of light in terms of when you go through pain, it brings possibilities. And when you go through possibilities, it brings the promise or the purpose. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that. And I've got an amazing, phenomenal, incredible woman, fantastic woman, my guest today on today's show, all the way from Los Angeles. So it's a different time. She's just waking up, I think. And we're going to really talk about bereavement. We're going to talk about grief. We're going to talk about reflections. We're going to talk about all sorts of things that are really going to help you for such a time as this. Now, why do I do this? I started this last December, and it's just really to give a platform to women just like you who are doing amazing things, especially for those of you that feel that you aren't doing. Hello, Shanita. Oh, my babes. Hello, Shanita. How are you? I know you're far away. I wonder what time it is for you. But anyway, as I was saying, people that are doing amazing things, and you might not feel you're doing amazing. You might think, oh, Dr. Zena is so fantastic. But I want to tell you that we are all the same. We have our rungs, our ups, our downs. We ride the waves. And if you're like me, if you're a woman of faith, God's in the boat with you, or Jesus in the boat with you. But if whatever it is that keeps you going, I want you to know that you are strong. You are amazing. Hello, Donna. You are amazing. You're fantastic. And you have to keep showing up. But also you have to listen to your body. Some of you that know me personally know that this particular time of my life, I found very challenging. And I'll talk about that much later. But before I share all the goss, let me tell you a little bit about the amazing woman that is coming on the show today as my special guest. Now, her name is Dr. Karen J. Beard, and she's a beacon of resilience. She's an advocate for turning adversity into advantage. So someone that we always need on our side. And she was amazing for me. And she's got a background in counseling, psychology. She's got a passion for helping people navigate life's challenges. Dr. Beard has emerged as the leading voice in the field of turning adversity into advantage. Throughout her career and her own journey, she's faced several million adversities, numerous obstacles, but she's always been able to transfer and transform every setback into a stepping stone towards a personal area of growth and empowerment. She understands firsthand, and when you listen to her, you'll find this out yourself. She understands firsthand the transformative power of perseverance and resilience as part of the human spirit. She's a certified tobacco treatment specialist. Dr. Beard has dedicated her life to supporting individuals in breaking free from the chains of nicotine. She has worked tirelessly with burn survivors, offering compassion, guidance, and unwavering support as they reclaim their lives and rediscover their strength. Dr. Beard's commitment to empowering others extends to working with people with disabilities, helping them to defy all the odds, the societal expectations, and embrace a life full of potential. She believes in the inherent value that every person has an inherent value and is capable of doing much more than they are given credit for. Her work reflects her unwavering belief that it does not matter what happens to you, it is the meaning you give to it. Quote me there, you can write it down. Tonight, she's going to share so much. So I've just given a little flavor of who this incredible, extraordinary woman is, and I'm going to invite her in the green room, from the green room now. She's going to say, I've set her up. But anyway, let's invite the amazing Dr. Karen Beard. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Dr. Z. So happy to be here with you and your viewers. Thank you for that amazing introduction. I almost didn't know myself. Yes.
Right. Yes. So I just want to say thank you so much for honoring the invitation. You know, you are such a phenomenal woman, incredible woman. And when I had the opportunity to meet you and actually engage with you, I thought, yes, this is the kind of people I need to have on my side. Hello, blessings. Lovely to see. Hello, Mrs. Lati. How are you? Ooh, lots of people. Hello, Chioma. Ooh, I can see people on the chat. Fantastic. Welcome aboard. You never know. I might invite you to ask a question. So be careful. I might bring you in. Anyway. It's so fantastic to have you on the show. I apologize a little bit, not really, because I know your time. What time is it in Los Angeles right now?
It's 11:09.
11:09. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want a cup of tea? That might help wake you up. I can give you. What kind of tea do you want? I've got lemon and ginger infusion. I've got pure green tea. I know that you're healthy. I've got our English tea, Twinings, Earl Grey. I love that. Or perhaps you just want to be nice and calm. I've got chamomile. So you tell me what you want and I'll make that for you.
Well, you know, you never give a woman a choice. We'll be here all day trying to decide. So I will just take the ginger infusion. How about that?
All right, I'll do that for you. No problem. Let's get that.
I love ginger.
Right. Guys online, do you want something as well? Let me know. Thank you. Like my hair. Thank you very much. Blessings. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. Right. I'll pour for you as first. So let's get your right.
Okay.
Oh, you're right there. Oh, yes. All right. Oh.
There we go. Oh,
there we go. Fantastic. And I'll pour for myself as well. Right. We all love a fresh brew. Fantastic. Right. Lemon and ginger. Fantastic choice. Fantastic choice. You didn't ask for honey, thank God, because I don't have any here. I'd have to get it. Right. Oh, Choma says she loves it too. Great stuff. Well, yeah. So, Dr. Karen, one of the key things that really strikes me as extraordinary and remarkable about you is, even as I was reading your bio, and even, you know, your bio doesn't do you justice, is the fact that you've been able to step by step, you know, use what you've gone through to go into a different aspect of your life. And I'm known as the reinvention queen. People that know me as the reinvention queen, but I'm thinking maybe I need to take off my crown and give it to you. I don't want to share it, but I might need to give it to you. So if you can just share some limelight, a little limelight on your journey, of reinvention, the different things that you've gone through and how it's been able to make you the person that you are today.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Z. Well, I'll share the most recent journey that um, has kept me busy since 2016, and that is the death of my husband as a result of being a smoker. Now, when I married my husband, I knew he was a smoker. I didn't have a problem with it at that time, um, but we were married 23 years. And during that 23-year marriage, my husband had lung cancer 3 times as a result of being a smoker, and he continued to smoke. And I never, really understood that. Um, and so on November 25th, 2013, he lost his battle with lung cancer. And when I reflect on that, um, I just remember being in what I call a free fall after his death. I felt like I was in an emotional free fall because his death, although I knew he had lung cancer, we were actually planning a trip. We were going to come out. We were living in Florida at that time. We were going to come out on the West Coast and then just do a drive up the coast. So I wasn't expecting that he would die that particular day. And so when he did, again, it put me into an emotional uh, free fall. And I am a person who believes that it's not what happens to you that matters, it's the meaning that you give it. And I did a lot of reflecting on, could I have been more supportive? I'm well, not ashamed, but the reality is that I did a lot of the wifey thing. I talked too much. I made threats. I cried. I cursed. I threatened. Please stop smoking. And as I reflected after his death, and I reflected back on that, I said, there was a lot of. I was afraid a lot. I was afraid of maybe the next surgery. I was afraid that he was on oxygen 24/7. What if I don't hear the machine if it stops? What if he something happens to him while we're sleeping and I don't discover it until the. I was just a mess. And but here's what I think got me through that and got me on the journey. And I don't take credit for being wise. I had a wise mother who basically taught me that, it's not what happens to you that matters. Um, it's the meaning you give it. And so when he died, and I thought back over my experience of trying to support him, one of the things that came forefront for me was the questions that you ask when you're facing unexpected difficulties influence the outcome that you get. And why do I say that? And what do I mean by that? I didn't ask why questions. I didn't say, why God, why did this happen to me or whatever. My question to God was, what now? What do I need to do now? How do I do it? Who do I talk to? Where do I go? And God's answer to me was California. And it was like, California, but being obedient, I moved to California. And it was there where my journey of a transformation started. Um, I realized when I was supporting him ineffectively to give up nicotine that although I'm a counseling psychologist and I know psychology, I didn't know nicotine. I didn't know the effect that nicotine had on people in general, him in particular. And so I educated myself. I went to a program and became a certified tobacco treatment specialist. And that's when I learned how nicotine affects your neurotransmitters, specifically dopamine, that feel good neurotransmitter and hormone. And so while I was busy, running my mouth saying you should stop, in hindsight, what I wish that I had done was ask more questions.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
what is it about, smoking
Yes.
that you enjoy? What is it that keeps you, in spite of having cancer
Yes.
3 times?
Yes.
I wish that I had asked more questions. And so once I became a certified tobacco treatment specialist, I have devoted the rest of my life. I'm 73, and I thought I would be on a cruise ship just having fun with my husband.
73.
Right.
Are you listening? Are you hearing, listeners? Whether you're listening live or you listen to this on the replay, Dr. Karen is 73. Doesn't she look like about 45?
Yay! So, but anyway, instead of retiring, I refired and became a champion of getting these products out of our communities and supporting families to help their loved ones in a positive way. So you might say, Dr. Z, that is how my journey in this work, in this fight against the tobacco industry began.
I'm just looking at the comments here, and I'm trying to, I keep forgetting I'm not in the back room to try and, show them up here. But, you've got people saying, wow, looking so young. You've got, oh no, 3 times battle with lung cancer. Yes. And that is really sad. But the good thing, yes, you do look amazing. You look amazing, Dr. Karen. The good thing about this, is, and we hear it all this time, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And it's easier to say that to someone else. But when you're in it yourself, and I will soon share, a little bit of what I've gone through for the past 6 months. But Dr. Karen is a fantastic example of, did you hear what she said? Rather than retiring, she refired. So you might be listening to this and you might be saying, I don't know what to do with my life. Nothing's working. I've lost my husband. I've lost my sister. Or they've sacked me at work, or I don't have a baby, or I've got a terminal illness. And I don't want you to have a terminal illness. But if it is, we need to keep on going until we're dead. Like I say, keep on going until the fat lady sings. And I'm not fat shaming anyone or anything like that. I'm probably bigger than most of you. But what am I saying? We've got to keep on going. We've got to keep on showing up. Not so much for yourself, but for someone else that you may never meet around the world, who just because of your story will move forward. For those of us that are people of faith, we tend to be really, really judgmental, especially if someone has an addiction that you don't have. In the church in particular, we don't smoke. We don't do drugs. I mean, they do, but, no one talks about it because you don't do it. So no drugs, no teenage pregnancy, no smoking, no pornography, all those things, all the vices that are there, they're there. And if you have people that have those addictions, we don't tend to look at them with compassion or empathy. We tend to judge, me, myself inclusive. I don't like smoking at all. And when people smoke around me, I'm like, God, I'm going to be a passive smoker. So, but rather than going to get an education to understand why they do it. And there was something that Dr. Karen said when we were in the green room, is that you look at, rather than looking at the smoker, you look at the person that smokes. I think that's how you said it. I think I might
right. Person who smokes rather than smoker.
Yes. And so, you learn and you get an education. So she got an education on it, and now she's an advocate all over the world. She's got this fantastic initiative, Freedom, and I get it wrong, Live Free or Freedom from Nicotine. Have I said it wrong? Have I got it right?
You did, but it's breaking free from nicotine.
Yeah. And when I first heard about it, I thought, what does that mean? But it just tells me that whatever the addiction is, rather than us judging, let's get the education that we need so that we can give the support that they need, whoever they may be. It could be your family member, it could be your child, it could be a colleague at work, it could be someone in your ministry, but less judging and more compassion and more empathy. Right. Now, I'm going to talk about that much later, but I want to touch on grief, because We know there's many of you listening would have heard about the 5, 6, 7 stages. It depends on what you're looking, what book you're looking at. You know, Dr. Kubler-Ross. We also talk about it in my divorce work when stages of grief when it comes to divorce recovery, the stages of grief. So I want to talk about this. We know there's, there's acceptance when you get to the end, and it's not linear. There's acceptance, there's, bargaining, there's anger. And I want to talk about the anger. So can you share as much as you feel comfortable with, Dr. Caro, the anger that you felt, and share that a little bit more?
Well, I did feel anger. I felt anger at my husband because he continued in spite of the operations that he had. Now, mind you, the first operation they removed half of his left lung. The second operation they removed a third of his right lung. He continued to smoke. Now, I knew he was intelligent because he married me, but I could not figure out why he continued to smoke. But the anger was at him. But again, when I reflected back on my anger was out of fear. I was constantly afraid I wouldn't do the right thing. I wouldn't be there, or my mind was just all over the place.
Just someone just saying hi. Hello, welcome to the show. Sorry, Dr. Karen.
And so there was anger. It was also anger at the system because at that time, and that's why I'm working so hard, there was no support for the loved ones, the family members. And so when someone smokes, or they're struggling to overcome an addiction, it's just like raising children. It takes a village to support them, because I can tell you, nobody smokes because they want to die. They're trying to meet a need. They've just chosen the wrong coping strategy, a way to meet that need. And when you're in the grips, sometimes I won't say sometimes, you do need someone there to support you. And lastly, I will say, let's just remember how Jesus handled the woman at the well. When everyone was judgmental, and what did he say? He said, if those of you who don't have, I'm paraphrasing, you probably know it better than me, but
if you're without
sin, cast the first stone. And so nicotine might not be your addiction or dependence or your thing. It's not for me. I'm too cheap. I won't pay that amount of money for cigarette. I just won't. But my weakness is cheesecake. I love sweets. And so what I learned, the wisdom that I got out of my the experience with my husband, is that that compassion is also born out of the fact that we know we all have something.
Yes.
So better, rather than complain and criticize, show compassion.
Yes. I like that. Rather than complain and criticize, show compassion. Easier said than done. We always want people to accord us with grace, with compassion, with care, with empathy. And what we expect people to do to us, we should do to others. The Bible says that as well, do unto those as you expect to be done to you, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm really pleased that you've, shared openly about the anger, because anger is real. And sometimes people go through grief. It could be grief as because of loss of a loved one, or loss of a job, loss of a dog. I know we were speaking in the green room, and you were talking about at that particular time there was just so much loss.
Oh yeah, I even lost my dog. And I had him. I got him when he was 3 months old, and he was 13 when I had to put him down. So I had quite a bit of loss. But if I may, Dr. Z, I'd like to share 4 ways to approach grief or any kind of difficulty or challenge that you may have in life. And again, I'm a very introspective person, so I do a lot of thinking and reflective thinking. And so I come up with there are four, and this is I didn't develop this. I read this in some transformational work that I was studying. But there are four ways to approach any situation. You can either approach it from the drama level, and that's where you blame, you look out and you want to make it everybody else's fault. Or number two, you can approach it from, well, how do I fix this situation? Or what do I do in this situation? And number three, you could say, well, who do I choose to be in this situation? And lastly, you could say, what is the opportunity in this situation, even in grief? Now, I'm not suggesting that you don't process your grief feelings, because feelings don't stay buried.
Yes.
If you try to bury your feelings, they'll come out some other way. So you want to process your feelings, but you don't want to stay stuck in that grief or in that anger. You can just remember, there are four approaches. I can stay stuck in the drama, the situation, or I can choose who I want to be in that situation, or I can find the opportunity or the silver lining in the situation. And I personally believe that there is a silver lining in all situations. It's whether you are open to acceptance. I said to God, I don't agree with you. You took my husband, but I accept it. And so that allowed me to move forward in a positive way and be able to help others.
Thank you so much. I love that. I love the four things, drama, choice, acceptance, or there's one more.
Drama, situation, choice, or opportunity.
I love it.
We don't want to be drama queens. We don't want to be
I don't want to share. I mean, I'm going to share. Some of you that know me personally, I can be a bit of a drama queen sometimes if I don't get my own way. I'm always busy. I travel around the world speaking. If I'm not speaking physically around the world, I'm speaking on, online, wear different hats, charities, divorce coaching, reinvention coaching, all sorts of things, podcasts, and then ministry in church. And I'm always in a hurry. I just feel that I need to pour out all of me before I die. So I don't like stopping. I don't rest at all. And at the beginning of the year, it was my birthday in January. Some of you know I always do my birthday in a bang. So I was in Portugal during my birthday in January. Had a fantastic time. Even did an event in January from Portugal. So I thought, yes, I've set the stage for how the rest of the year will be. Not God has set the stage. I, as if I have control. So I did that. And while I was in Portugal, got some news that my mom, my lovely mom, my darling mom, beloved mom, was ill. She, lived in Austin in Texas with my sister, my little sister. She used to stay with me. And we said, okay, let's take it in turns. After COVID, mom will come back and stay with me again. She had been with me for a while. And then my sister said, okay, she will take over. What the boys, I've got three brothers. They were like, it's always the girls. And so me and my sister, we took it upon ourselves. My mom, my sister, her husband and their children came December 2019 to spent Christmas with me, and we agreed, that she will come back. We never realized that there would be COVID. So there was COVID. Okay. And then, everything changed. Anyway, January 2024, I got news just as I was about to go live with the show, the show I was doing, the event I was doing in Portugal, that my mom was ill. That kind of put a bit of a downer, but I kept going, did the show, delivered, got sign-ups, people, came into the coaching group, doing lots of things with them. And then immediately I got back from Portugal, I had to find a ticket to go to Austin in Texas to, basically see my mom. At that time, I was fortunate enough to speak to Dr. Karen here. I was fortunate to speak to another friend of mine, Cindy. She's not on the call. Cindy, she's not too far from Austin. So, many of my friends and colleagues stateside. So that was really good. Valerie Oakley, who's been a guest on this show as well. Shanita, who's been a guest on it. And they were really, really fantastic, really held me up on all that. Nothing prepared me for the fact that mommy was going home, although the signs were there and all that, but nothing prepared me. Anyway, came back maybe about the 27th or something of January. And soon thereafter, mum passed on to be with the Lord. Horrible shock. We're 5 of us, for all of us. And we've all been dealing with it differently and all that. And I kind of, kept going. Suddenly we had to plan a funeral. Now, my mom, where my background is Nigerian, but I was born in England. I've lived in England all my life. When I die, I've told my kids, you're burying me here. My siblings, they all live here or in America. And I think we all have similar views, where we are as well, but my mom, she didn't want to be prescriptive. She said, whenever she goes home, bury her wherever, she doesn't mind. But we knew at the back of our heart that she really wanted to go home. And so we argued about it, me and my siblings, what was the best way? We're thinking about the money and all the logistics. And I said, let's bury her in England. I live in England. Let's do that. I've got lots of family and friends here. But obviously I got overruled. My older brothers, they said, no, we need to do it properly with the culture. So we had to start planning about transporting mommy from Austin in Texas to Lagos in Nigeria. And then from Lagos, because I'm not from there, to the east. Nigeria is a massive country. So all that logistics, it was so traumatic. I went with my older daughter. It was extremely traumatic. I was very scared. Had never done that before. I was, my prayer partners here were all praying up and all that. But it was fantastic. It went really, really well. It was traumatic, and it was, a lot of different cultures, language, and all that, barriers and all the things that are expected, because I don't know I don't know most of the culture. So lots of things that I didn't know, and some things that they pretended that it needed to be, because funerals in Nigeria are like big business. It's an opportunity to get all their family members who are in the diaspora in America and England, wherever, to come back, and then, and they said, this is the culture, you should do this, you should do that. And so that's always a big opportunity. And it's they make money out of it as well. So we did all of that, and that was fantastic. My daughter had a fantastic time, met her cousins again. The last time she was there, she was 10. We went for my dad's 80th. So it was good. It was a good opportunity for us to bond with the rest of the family, people that we would never meet again, or we've never seen. And that was good. And I got back on the 22nd of March. And I'm like, yeah, thank you, Jesus. Got home safely, no problem, no kidnappers, no food poisoning. I didn't eat the wrong things. Everything was okay. Didn't have diarrhea, no malaria. Everything was fantastic. Thank you, Jesus. And I said to my older daughter that, I'd like us to recreate the life we had in Nigeria, because there was some fun times we had, the food and everything. So I said, I'm just going to rush to the African store and buy the same kind of sweet potato, not the one we have here in England that it's all mashy, but the same kind of sweet potato that's white and big that they had in Nigeria, and I'll make it the way they made it. She said, oh, Mom, why don't you rest? We can do it. No, I want to do it now. So I went, I bought, got the plantain, sweet potato, yam, everything, did dumpling, all the things, did what we call egg sauce, so tomatoes, onions, garlic, and eggs. Fantastic. I was getting that ready. I know, I can see you. I can even see people in the chat saying, oh my days, they want to eat some, and, that was amazing. Did that. And I have an air fryer, so I don't deep fry. But if you don't deep fry this sweet potato or yam, it's not the same thing. If you air fry it, it's not the same thing. So I just wanted to recreate and have one more day of that life that I lived before coming back to reality on the Sunday, going to church and then coming back to reality and going back to work and all the rest of it. Anyway, I decided to pour half a bottle of vegetable oil, which I don't even buy, in a wok. So those of you that know what a wok is, it's like a cylindrical kind of, pot, or I don't know, that you use to do stir fry, Chinese, Japanese kind of food. We do that a lot in my house. You would never use it to deep fry because it doesn't balance. And here I was frying away, and the wok tipped over with boiling water, boiling oil. And just to share this, and if you are someone that's really gory, you're scared and everything, look away now, because I'm about to share my screen so I can give you just a little bit of a flavor of what's been happening and how, what's been happening since the 23rd of March. Or I'll share this one. Oh, no, that's I don't know if you can see my screen. I had 2nd-degree burns and 3rd-degree burns on both legs. That's one. Yeah, I know, that's that. And I'll share, another one. Oh man, as I'm looking at it, I mean, I've been in crutches. I was going to the hospital every other day to be treated. I had infections. I mean, only me. I had staph in one leg. And what was the other one? Staph and the other one in the other, like 2 different, in both legs. I'll leave this for now because I don't want to, but this is one. I can't see the other one I got ready earlier, but that's that. And so I've been on crutches. I've been at home, full of drama. At home, full of drama, being upset that I can't move about, not allowed to drive, haven't driven. I drive a little bit now, but I can't drive. I can't do. I had a massive event that I was supposed to do in April. I couldn't do that, couldn't move about. Yes.
And then when I came to London in April, she took an attitude with me because I said she wanted to do all these things. And I'm like, Dr. Zena, you're not going to be able to do all those things. And she was like, well, what do you tell me what I can do?
I can do all things, sort of thing, And and then she said to me, I mean, Dr. Karen, amazing woman of God, she said to me very calmly, okay, you know what to do? Get on a train. If you can get on a train and take that trip and see how it is, and then you see. And I took the train. I didn't even take 4 stops, and I was exhausted. I thought I was going to die. I got home and no one told me that I needed to rest. And there was something my grandmother used to say when I was very little. She would say, move or I move you. And this is probably God saying, rest or I rest you. And so I've been resting forcibly, but resting, watching daytime TV, watching things that I haven't watched for years, but also I've been busy working on new initiatives, amazing initiatives that watch this space. So I've done a lot of work, inner work, lots of reflection. I've gotten even closer to God. We had new collaborations.
Opportunity, see?
Yes.
There's that opportunity.
Absolutely. So I moved the drama away and looked at the opportunities. There's this amazing group that I'm in, and I've just been, working with these women. We're doing all sorts of amazing initiatives, collaborating. We've got events coming up in Africa, in other parts of America, later on this year. And it's all been great. But if I did not rest, I wouldn't be able to do that. Now, Dr. Karen is 70, did you say 72? 73 years old. Look at how she looks. I want to get to 73 years old and beyond and look like that. So I need to rest. We all need to rest. We need to give ourselves some grace. When you have an opportunity, look at what you can do better. It's like doing a personal SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the threats and what are your opportunities? What can you do better? How can you change the way that you think? How can you go out there and use what you've gone through to bless somebody else? The Bible tells us that our bodies are, temples of God. So we're supposed to use our bodies properly. So I'm not saying that God made this happen. No, he didn't.
No.
What he did and what he has done is to give me the opportunity to actually rest, regroup, research, reinvent. I'm the reinvention queen, so I need to know how to do that properly. Rest, reflect, reinvent, research, reemerge, but also regroup and recalibrate what my life means. And also look at what has worked and what doesn't work. Am I still amazing? Of course I am. Am I still incredible? Of course I am. Am I still coaching? Yes, I am. I mean, what's been amazing is that between let's say March and now, my clients have had amazing breakthroughs, which probably if, this didn't happen, but more importantly, I know you've seen the pictures, but I want you to know that it could have been worse.
I always go back to Dr. Z, that it's the question that you ask. I when I'm in the midst of it, I don't ask why questions. if you get the answer, that might be great. But when you ask how, what now, and who questions, I believe God gives you answers that action. You can take action. And that's what you need to do. I mean, you mentioned at the beginning of the show, I've been through a lot, but I think I don't look like I've been through a lot because I've never been a person to ask why questions.
Yes.
I married at 18. I had my first child at 20. My husband came home. My first husband came home and just said, I don't want to be married anymore. Packed his stuff and left. I was 20. I had an 8-month-old baby. I was 7 months pregnant. I had no car, no job. I never told my mother, but I just asked God, what do I need to do now?
Yes.
And he brought me through that. And so again, I would just say it's the questions that you ask. Why questions, I believe, keeps you stuck.
I like what you said about that. It's important. Now, you're not always going to go through what I've gone through. You might go through something worse or something not as bad. It doesn't matter what it is, but ask yourself the why questions. And that's not why me. That's not what we're talking about. We're not saying why me, because that's a victim mentality. We're not talking about why me. We're talking about why. What am I supposed to do with this thing about when life gives you lemons? What is the lemonade I'm supposed to make? How can I use this to bless? And you may not be a Christian, so it's not always about, but how can I use this to impact somebody else's life? How can I use this to show that? Because people are always watching you. They may not talk about you, they may not even reach out, but people are always watching you, watching how you respond. There's a fantastic book by John Bevere, how to behave or how to respond when you've been mistreated. There's a way to respond when you go through things. And as a leader, and you might say, well, I'm not a leader. Let me tell you, everyone is a leader.
Is a leader, yeah.
You might be a leader at work, maybe you've got a high-powered job, or you might be a leader in your home. But if you're not leading one person, 2, 3, you're at least leading yourself. So you're a leader. So as a leader, you need to, number one, be accountable, not just to other people, to yourself. Be accountable. Know that you are responsible for your life and your body. No one else. No one else.
And speaking of others watching you, I have 18 grands and 6 great grands, and
18 grandchildren.
18 grands, and 11 of them are girls. And
wow.
So I don't know why, but I was always cognizant of the fact that how I wanted to be a role model for them. And so part of many of them knew my husband. They grew up with Papa. And so I thought it was very important how I reacted to teach them how to, by what I did, to teach them without having to sit them down and give a lecture. So the older ones, I'm very proud. I think the oldest one might be in her 30s now.
Wow.
She said, they all say, Nina, that's what they call me, Nina. Nina, you're so strong. And Nina, I remember when this happened. And I went in my bedroom and broke down, but in front of them, I tried to model, how to handle adversity or challenges. You don't let it stop you in your tracks. You stop.
Yes.
And you recover.
Yes.
You get your breath back. But you lock your knees and you keep it moving. You don't make excuses. Even if somebody else did you wrong, you continue to do right, because the balance of that wrongness may come from somebody else.
Absolutely.
So I'm not concerned about that person that did me wrong or that circumstance that didn't work out in my favor. It's just as long as I keep it moving, I believe it'll balance out.
Absolutely. I love that. Normally this show is half an hour, but obviously I'm the drama queen and it's my show. I can do what I like. No, not really. But it's my, welcome back. I'm back. I'm going to be terrorizing you in your inbox or on social media. No, in a nice way. But I just want you to, if you've got any questions, send them in, or you can speak to us later on. We're going to have to end. When you're having fun, we have to end. But before we go out, I just wanted to, first and foremost, because we might not have the opportunity, to thank you so much, Dr. Karen, for sharing your wisdom, for being so open and so authentic and so lovely. Thank you for not giving me a hard time, or giving me a hard time in a nice way when I was being a drama queen. Like, I want to do this now. No. And just so that you know, she's also has experience years ago as a burn specialist. So she was telling me what I needed to hear and I wasn't listening. Said, no, don't look at the physical wounds as well. Look at the burns. Take a lot out of you physically and mentally. And it was so surprising. I said to her, can you imagine at the hospital, they offered me counseling. Well, I don't need counseling. You do. So anyway, so I'm going to end this now. I'm having so much fun. I don't want to stop. It's lovely to be back. Seeing you all guys on cyberspace. Hope you're going to enjoy this on the replay as well. Can you give us some final words of wisdom, Dr. Karen? I'm just going to have a quick look at the chat.
Final words. I would just say, again, it's not what happens to you that matter. It's the meaning you give it, meaning your perspective. And I tend to play to my strengths. And I would suggest that you do the same, use your strengths to get you out of any difficulty or whatever. And we all have strengths. It's just sometimes we try to do what other people tell us to do or whatever. Be quiet, listen to God's voice, and he will direct your path. He'll make the crooked path straight.
Yes, I love that. And I'm just going to share, we've had some fantastic engagement in the chat, and I've just been trying to, put them so that we can see them. But I just want to share something. There's so many amazing comments, but there's something that Mrs. Janet Amadi Osagis, and I love it. I think it was when we were talking about the why we ask ourselves. And I'm thinking, I would have invited you, but I know you're going to say, Dr. Z, I'm not ready. I don't have my wig on, or I don't have my glasses on. So I'm not going to put you on the spot, but maybe next time I will. But I just want to share what she's just said. She said in her case, it was, she had back-to-back bereavements in her early teenage years. And she didn't even have the luxury of asking, why me, God? She just had to look to God for directive straight away in the midst of it all. And like that song says, when I look up to the hills, where does my help come from? It comes from heaven and earth. Psalm 121. Thank you so much. Oh, look at Star Galaxy. I'm seeing all sorts of people now. Oh, look at just, hi, everyone. If I haven't mentioned your name, Star Galaxy, yes, we all need counseling. Let me just show your comment. Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Josia, lovely to see you all. Fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming back and sharing this space with us. Thank you so much, Dr. Karen. Love you to bits. Love you to bits. And look forward to next time. Until next time, there'll be another amazing guest, and I will bring Dr. Karen back. I'm just taking her now so she can't say no. Putting on the spot now so she can't say no. So I will bring her back. But thank you everyone for listening, for enjoying the show, for making it a huge success. A Cup of Tea with Dr. D, where we speak to extraordinary women all over the world, like you and like me, doing extraordinary things. Thank you so much for listening. So much.
Thanks for listening to A Cup of Tea with Dr. Z, your reinvention queen. We hope you've been motivated and inspired to go out there and conquer any obstacles and issues you may face. You can find Dr. Zena on all social platforms. Until next time, remember, you're not alone.